Modern humans outpaced every other species, not through physical strength, but through a collective memory. We could map a hunting strategy, identify poisonous flora, and warn the group of an ambush, passing that data to the next generation so the mistake never had to be repeated. That evolutionary wiring is still active. When you struggle to find your words in a meeting, your brain doesn't see a social inconvenience. It senses a threat to your standing in the tribe. It's why social anxiety feels so suffocating. Your nervous system is signaling that you're becoming vulnerable to being left behind. Because this is a biological response, you cannot simply think your way out of it. You have to train the system. By building a daily structure that simulates these social risks in a controlled way, you can reset your baseline and regain your natural ability to connect. This training requires 4 specific habits that target your preparation, your reflexes, and your knowledge structure. If you have a phone and a piece of paper ready, we can begin building the first exercise immediately. The first habit is a 30-second pause. Before you enter a boardroom or a casual coffee date, ask yourself, what is the specific reason I am walking into this room? Most people walk in with scattered energy. They want emotional support while the other person is focused on problem solving, or they try to negotiate a deal while the other person just wants to connect. Neither side gets what they need, leading to a mounting sense of frustration. Think of it like a gym-goer wandering between machines with no plan, compared to an athlete walking in to train only their shoulders. One expends a lot of energy with 0 progress, while the other makes every movement count toward a single result. To make this work, your objective must be reduced to 1 sentence. I want to get feedback on this project, or I want to make this person laugh. If you can't state it simply, you don't actually know why you're there. That single sentence becomes a directive for your brain. It aligns your tone and your listening, ensuring that you aren't pulling the conversation in too many directions at once. The second habit is to pick one person every day and call them. Not a text, not an audio note, a live, unscripted phone call. We've become comfortable with the cycle of editing. We type a thought, read it back, delete it, and add an emoji to soften the delivery. It feels safe, but it's actually a trap. This process trains you to overanalyze every word. When you eventually find yourself in a real-time conversation where there is no backspace key, you feel slow and hesitant because your conversational reflexes have begun to atrophy. A phone call forces you back into the arena. You have to manage your pacing, your volume, and your response time all at once, without the ability to hide behind a screen. By making 1 call a day, you stop overthinking and start speaking. You are rebuilding the muscle required to handle the unpredictable nature of real human connection. Next is a 7-day challenge designed to desensitize you to the fear of judgment. This is essentially exposure therapy for your social confidence. Every day for a week, you must push your personality slightly past its current boundary. Share the slightly outrageous opinion you'd normally swallow, or tell a joke to a stranger while you're waiting in line. This only works if you keep the stakes low. You are looking for interactions where the outcome does not matter, environments where there is 0 risk to your career or your long-term relationships. Every time you take one of these micro risks and the world doesn't end, your nervous system receives a piece of evidence that it is safe to be seen. Over 7 days, your brain's internal threat level begins to drop. The goal isn't to become a different person, but to prove to your brain that the unfiltered version of you is not a liability. When the fear of rejection gets smaller, your real personality naturally begins to show through. The final habit focuses on what you bring to the table. On your piece of paper, draw a large capital T. We are going to map out your conversational framework. The vertical stem is the area where you go deep with actual authority, your craft or a hobby. The horizontal bar represents soft interests you're curious about, like cinema or economics. The most interesting conversations happen where your deep expertise meets a soft interest. If you are an expert in software engineering, the STEM, and you apply that logic to your soft interest in cinema, you can explain why a movie's plot feels like it has a bug in its code. Applying a specialized lens to a common topic creates a perspective they likely haven't considered before. This demonstrates that being an interesting communicator isn't a personality trait you're born with. It is a structure you build by intentionally connecting the different worlds you already inhabit. This is your routine. Define your goal before you speak, make one unscripted call a day, practice micro risks for 7 days, and map your knowledge intersections. Your ability to communicate is not broken. It has just been muffled by layers of self-censorship and a nervous system that is trying too hard to protect you. These habits aren't about building a new persona. They are about removing the obstacles that prevent you from being the communicator you already are. So pick up your phone, pick a person, decide on your one-sentence goal, and make